So, one man hit the most famous home run of his life against the team he now represents. One was traded for Pavel Demitra, one was traded for Manute Bol, and one intercepted a pass near his own goal line, then ran nearly the entire field to defeat the defending Super Bowl champions. This is Wallpaper 4, Episode 3. Today we're talking about Jeff Bloom, Chrysler Olsen, Dave Feidel, and Tim McKyer. We'll start with Jeff Bloom, and he's a strange kind of Astro. He played 5 seasons for Houston, but he spent considerably longer describing Astros games on TV. The most famous thing he ever did inside Houston's ballpark came while he was attempting to defeat Houston. Bloom is a switch-hitting infielder from the University of California, drafted by Montreal in 1994. Houston acquired him before the 2002 season, and he immediately produced one of his strongest years, a .283 average, 10 home runs, and 52 RBI. Bloom wasn't built around one position. He could play third, short, second, or first. He appeared at all 4 infield positions during 9 consecutive seasons through his career. Across his 2 Houston stints, 2002-2003, then again 2008 through 2010, he hit 49 home runs, 259 with 228 RBI. But between those 2 stints came Game 3 of the 2005 World Series. Hi, Jeff. Bloom was playing for the Chicago White Sox. The score was tied in the 14th at Minute Maid Park. He had a go-ahead home run, and Chicago won that game 7-5, pushed Houston right to the edge of elimination, and completed the sweep the following night. Later on, the Astros brought him back 3 years later, deciding forgiveness was easier than continuing to remember that home run. After retirement, Bloom entered Houston's television booth in 2013. The 2026 season is his 14th as an Astros broadcaster and his 10th as the everyday color analyst. He's now spent far more time describing Astros baseball than he ever spent playing it. 2. Chrysler Olsen. Hi, Modem Jemkin Lurker. Hey, Super Mario clones. Chrysler Olsen's Blues career lasted 31 regular season games. That's it. Swedish defenseman, he was already 22 years old when St. Louis selected him in the 11th round of the 1993 draft. Olsen remained in Sweden for 2 more years. Then he joined the Worcester Ice Cats and made his NHL debut with the Blues on January 4th, 1996. He played 26 games that season, scoring 2 goals with 8 assists. He also appeared 3 times. Jaden, can you hear me? He appeared 3 times during a playoff run in which St. Louis eliminated Toronto and took Detroit into overtime of Game 7. Olsen returned for 5 games the following season and recorded 1 assist. Then on November 27th, 1996, the Blues traded him to Ottawa for a young Slovak forward who was holding out and had failed to establish himself with the Senators. That player was Pavel Demitra. Demitra became a 3-time All-Star, won the Lady Byng Trophy, and produced 493 points in a 494 regular season game career for St. Louis. Olsen played 25 games for Ottawa before returning to Europe. Then he continued playing until 2005, subsequently moved into coaching. That doesn't make Chrysler Olsen a bad hockey player. It makes him the answer to one of the most satisfying trade questions in Blues history. Who did St. Louis give up to acquire Pavel Demitra? All right, Dave Feidel. At 6'11", Dave Feidel was difficult to overlook. He also spent his one Warrior season surrounded by transactions involving players who were even more recognizable. Hi, Jaden and Brock Squad. Feidel became an all-WAC center at UTEP and he ended his college career as the second leading scorer in school history. Houston took him with the 43rd selection in 1986. In November 1987, the Rockets sent him and a future first-round pick to Golden State for longtime Warrior scorer Purvis, never nervous Purvis, Short. Feidel received the largest role of his NBA career in Oakland. He appeared 70 games, started 19, and averaged 6.5 points, 4.8 rebounds. Against Seattle in January, he scored 17 points. Then 2 months later, he grabbed 16 rebounds and scored 13 against the Clippers. The Warriors went 20-62. That sucks, but Feidel proved he could function as a useful NBA center. Then Golden State used him to acquire a much taller one. In June of 1988, the Warriors traded Feidel and a second-round pick to Washington for 7'7" Manute Bol. Coach Don Nelson paired Bol with 7'4" Ralph Sampson and proudly announced, "This is the new and genuine version of the Twin Towers." Feidel later played for Washington, returned to Houston, and finished his NBA career with New Jersey. His Warriors tenure lasted 1 year, but it ended by bringing one of the most unmistakable players in basketball history to Oakland. Fourth, our last one, Tim McKyer. And he arrived in Carolina with considerably more NFL experience than the franchise itself. The San Francisco 49ers drafted McKyer in 1986. He intercepted 6 passes as a rookie, then later earned 2 Super Bowl rings with San Francisco. By 1995, Carolina selected him from Pittsburgh in the expansion draft, making him part of the first Panthers roster. The Panthers began their existence with 5 straight losses, then they won 3 straight, before traveling to San Francisco to face the defending Super Bowl champions. So McKyer's returned to the stadium where his career had begun. The 49ers drove to the 3-yard line during the first quarter. Elvis Gerback attempted to pass. McKyer intercepted the ball near the goal line and began running. He didn't stop for 96 yards. So instead of San Francisco taking the lead, McKyer reached the opposite end zone and put Carolina ahead 10-0. Excuse me. The Panthers won 13-7 and became the first expansion team ever in NFL history to defeat the reigning Super Bowl champs. McKyer's return remained the longest interception touchdown in Panthers history for 28 years, until Sam Franklin broke it by returning 199 yards in 2023. Tim McKyer just played 1 year in Carolina, but he supplied the defining play in one of the first truly important victories the Panthers ever recorded. So this video is 1 World Series swing, 2 trades that bought unforgettable players in return, and a 96-yard reminder: an expansion team doesn't necessarily understand its assigned place in the NHL's hierarchy. Jeff Bloom, Chrysler Olsen, Dave Feidel, Tim McKyer. 4 careers pulled back into focus. I'm Kevin. Thanks for stopping by, and maybe I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.